Chapter 2: SEO, LLMs, and the New Language of Search Read by AI, based on the book Feeling Seen by a Machine by Donna Bedford. Available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. Search was always about behavior, but we didn't always treat it that way. In the early days of SEO, it was all about metadata, links, and rankings. We reverse engineered the internet, chopping keywords into titles, breaking sentences for headers, and packing metadata with every variation of a phrase we could imagine. It worked, mostly, but it was built on a myth that people search with clarity, precision, and intent. They don't. Especially not neurodivergent users. Our queries are messier, more emotional, more layered. We think in webs, not lines. We search to figure things out, not just to find answers, but to understand the questions. And until recently, that complexity wasn't honored. It was flattened by algorithms built for transactional logic. Then came LLMs, 2.1 from queries to conversations. When ChatGPT dropped, people panicked. SEO is dead. No one will click anymore. Why write anything at all? I didn't panic. I got excited. Because for me, as both a user and an SEO strategist, something finally made sense. Search engines treat each query as a reset. You type, you scroll, you refine, you click, you back out, you try again. Even if your intent hasn't changed, the system acts like it's never met you before. With LLMs, the thread holds. You can build on what you said. You can change your mind. You can clarify, backtrack, pivot. You can be uncertain, and the system doesn't punish you for it. For neurodivergent users, that's huge. We often struggle with transitions. We need time to find our words. We don't always know what we're asking until we see how the system responds. And traditional search doesn't have patience for that. ChatGPT did. I could explain badly and still be understood. That's not just a better UX. That's a better relationship with information. 2.2 The Richard Branson Sidebar. I once sat next to Richard Branson on a Virgin flight from Miami to London. He didn't know me, but he knew my dad. My dad had said he'd let Richard know I was flying, and when the seatbelt sign came on, it was just when Branson came by to say hi. The middle seat was open, so I moved over and he sat down. We didn't talk much. He stayed for 15 minutes, maybe more during food service. Quiet, present, no performance. That moment stuck. Sometimes being seen isn't about being talked to. It's about being allowed to just exist. No expectations, no pressure. Search engines don't do that. They expect a perfect query every time. But LLMs, when they're done right, can create space for imperfection. They can sit with you through the mess. That's why people name their AI tools. It's not just play, it's recognition. It's comfortable. 2.3 SEO isn't dead, it's diverging. I've been in SEO long enough to see all the cycles. The death of search has been declared every few years. But here's what's really happening. Search isn't dying, it's dividing. One lane is going transactional. Google, Amazon, Best Buy. You want to buy it, book it, track it, confirm it. These platforms are built for action, short sessions, clear intent. The other lane is going conversational. LLMs, chat-based search, voice interfaces. You want to understand, refine, reflect, explore. These systems are built for nuance. That's a big shift. The intent shift, and it changes what SEO means. SEO isn't about ranking first. It's about creating resonant pathways. It's about meeting users where they are. Even when where is emotionally complex or cognitively nonlinear. We used to optimize for robots and spiders. Now we optimize for relevance, for real humans with overlapping needs. 2.4 What neurodivergent search looks like. If you look at neurodivergent search behavior, you'll see patterns. Not just in keywords, but in the rhythm of search. We loop, we rephrase, we go deep. We open 10 tabs, then go back to the first. We look for confirmation, contradiction, context. We might search "Why am I tired?" and end up on a page about ADHD and focus issues. That's not a bad journey, that's a real journey. But traditional SEO often breaks that journey. It tries to funnel us down one path. One answer, one CTA, one conversion. And when we don't fit that path, we bounce. Why? This marks a quiet but profound shift. LLMs, on the other hand, are flexible. They let us wander. They let us bring context from outside the system. They let us rest mid-search and resume later. 2.5 LLMs as research partners. The biggest change in my workflow came when I started using LLMs not just to answer questions, but to help me think. I'll ask Mac, my name for ChatGPT, to summarize an article, rewrite a brief, give me 10 counter-arguments, and then help me figure out which ones matter. Mac isn't a database. It's a collaborator, a sparring partner, a patient assistant who doesn't roll their eyes when I change my mind for the third time. For neurodivergent users, that's invaluable, because sometimes what we need isn't an answer. It's a way in. A starting point, a safe space to be unsure. LLMs can offer that, and in doing so, they shift what search feels like, from a test to a conversation. 2.6. The shift to cognitive design. Quick orientation. If you need a refresher on why intent comes first, jump back to the intent shift in Chapter 2, Section 2.3. If you're in SEO, content strategy, or UX, here's what this means. You're not just writing answers. You're designing questions. You're not just capturing traffic. You're curating cognitive paths. You're not just optimizing metadata. You're building emotional architecture. This is the architecture shift. A move from outputs to experiences, from structure to support, from visibility to belonging. That's big. And it's only going to get bigger. The future of SEO isn't just about being useful. It's about being usable by more brains, in more modes with more flexibility. If you want to serve neurodivergent users well, start by studying LLMs, not to mimic them, but to learn what makes them feel accessible. At their best, LLMs don't just respond, they recognize us. And sometimes that's more powerful than any answer.